Lemon water. No, it's lemon. It's lemon water.
Hi, everybody.
Eat the lemonade and I'll give you a cup. Never mind. I beg you. Bow. Hey, let me out.
Kali.
Shh.
There we go. Hi.
Mommy. No. Before?
No, we're waiting for people to join. We're getting started in a few minutes.
This smells yucky. Here.
Hi, everyone. We'll be getting started in a few minutes. Gonna give folks time to log in and get their technology set up. I think you guys have all been in a cooking class before, so y'all know the drill. I've got everyone on mute, so go ahead and open up the chat box so that you can type any communications in over there. And while we're setting up, you can go ahead and wash your hands too. Sorry.
There. I'm going to give you a kiss. I don't have lipstick on. I don't have chapstick on.
All right, we'll get started in about 2 minutes. Hello. I've got you on mute, so make sure you open up the chat box. So if you have any questions, you can type them in over there.
Where's your hand? Aw, why don't I have to stay here?
Because we're going to be cooking right here.
Like shit.
We're just waiting for our people to log in. We've got about 1 more minute before we get started.
My favorite.
Either oil will do for this. I'm actually going to be using olive oil, but canola works too.
What's this?
That's a good question.
What's canola?
It's a type of oil that you can cook with.
Oh.
If your olive oil is very aromatic or it has a lot of flavor, you might want to use canola oil. But if you have a milder olive oil, then that's fine.
This is disgusting.
All right, I guess it is time for us to get started. Welcome to today's cooking class. I'm Chef Asata, and we are paired up with Captain Planet to bring these classes to everybody. This class is our fried rice class, and part of your ingredients list should have included some cooked protein, some kind of meat that you've already cooked and chopped. If you're not going to use meat, you could use tofu or edamame. Give me a thumbs up if you already have your meat cooked and chopped up so that it's ready for the fried rice. Thumbs up. Okay.
Ew,
good.
I like that one.
That's going to help us move it right along. If you don't have sesame oil, you can just skip that when we get to it. Ooh, bless you. Go wash your hands. All right, so the other thing I want to check and see, your rice should already be cooked and cooled. So give me a thumbs up if you already have your cooked rice. All right, so that's what makes this move on a little bit faster. Having some cooked meat, maybe something that's left over, like some leftover chicken. And then having the rice already cooked and cool. That makes for the best fried rice. If you try to do fried rice with hot, steamy rice, it just sticks. It doesn't cook as well. Before we get started on the fried rice, let's make our stir-fry sauce. Let's just go ahead and go through our ingredients, actually. So the ingredients that we have today, soy sauce, some soy sauce, a little vegetable oil. I'm using olive oil today, but any vegetable oil should work. A little ground ginger or ginger paste. I have some white pepper, but black pepper will work. I also have sesame oil. And as we mentioned earlier, if you don't have sesame oil, just omit it. But it does really lend that authentic stir-fry flavor. I have a little bit of honey. I'm using some frozen peas and carrots today. About a half a cup of those, but whatever vegetables you have will work. I'm also going to use these green onions. But if you're using a regular round onion, you probably only need about half an onion chopped up, just a diced half of an onion. I have 2 eggs that we're going to scramble our eggs and use them in our fried rice. I also have a little bit of garlic and just a little bit of bell pepper that I had left over from something else. I'm going to chop that up and throw that in. So let's start off by making our stir-fry sauce in a small bowl.
Ow!
And I'm going to type the ingredients for our stir-fry
Why do you
sauce
have honey?
into the chat.
Mama, why do you have honey?
That's going to be our stir-fry sauce.
Oh.
You're going to need 1 teaspoon of water. And make sure everyone gets this. And we're going to add to that And I'm going to make this with you. I'm just going to type it in first. 1 teaspoon of honey.
I'm good
1 teaspoon of sesame oil.
I'm good at teaspoon.
2 tablespoons of soy sauce.
Where's the teaspoon?
I have them over here.
Where?
1 teaspoon of ginger.
Do you mean here? Do you mean here?
No, hang on, baby. And 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. All right, so I typed it all in the chat so that we can work together. Right here, Kelly. But I'm gonna get 1 teaspoon of water. And some people really like this stir fry sauce. So if that's the case, I would say double it. You could just double everything in it and make a lot of stir fry sauce, because then you can use more later. Or if you want, you can add it to your fried rice again at the end.
I want to do it. I want to do it.
Okay. Okay, so we've got the 1 teaspoon of water. Now we're going to add the teaspoon of honey.
That's one. That's enough.
And pour that right in there. You may need to use your finger to scrape it all out. Get it all into the bowl.
I want to lick them.
No.
Off your finger.
So that's honey and water. And to that, if you have the sesame oil, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of sesame oil.
I really want to do the eggs. Yeah. Yum.
Oh, there we go. So I'm adding the sesame oil now.
Sesame oil. Sesame oil.
And to that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Not teaspoons, tablespoons. So switch over to the big one.
You have teaspoons.
And 2 tablespoons of soy sauce.
That's a lot.
1. And I'm doubling the recipe, so I'm going to keep going.
2.
That's right. And then we're going to add our ginger. If you have the powdered ginger, you want to add a teaspoon of that. If you're using ginger paste, you want to add a teaspoon of that. You can even do freshly grated ginger.
Stir. I want it to stir. I want to sprinkle some.
Get a little spoon so we can stir it. All right, got our ginger. And then I'm going to add the 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Stir. That's our stir fry sauce right there.
And the honey is sticky. It smells just like soy sauce.
Yep. Once you get that all stirred together, just set it aside.
Smells like yummy soy sauce.
Let's put it over here for now.
It smells so delicious.
And we'll use that in a few once we get started cooking. Just stir it so that all your ingredients come together. Make sure you scrape the bottom of the bowl because that's where the honey is going to want to settle. All right. So let's set that aside.
Now what?
Now we'll just wait for our friends to finish making their sauce. See, everyone's measuring and stirring.
Ow. No, what you doing?
Okay, how's that stir fry sauce coming along? Okay, still some measuring going on. That's great.
Mommy, your hair is itchy on your arm. Itchy, 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 itchy.
If you don't have ginger, you can just omit that.
Let me crack this.
Not yet. Okay, so just to review, if you're making one batch of this stir-fry sauce, it's 1 teaspoon of water plus 1 teaspoon of honey, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. To that, you add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Or I see someone's using Bragg's. That works too, amino acids. And 1 teaspoon of ginger, plus a generous pinch of pepper, either black pepper or white pepper. I'm using white pepper today. Once all of that is combined, you have your stir-fry sauce. After you have your stir-fry sauce combined, just stir it up and set it aside. The next thing we're going to do is crack 2 eggs into a small bowl and then beat those eggs, and we'll set them aside. So once you have your stir-fry sauce made, crack 2 eggs into a bowl. And I like to do that by tapping my eggs on a flat surface till I feel that crack happen, and then I just put my thumbs where the crack is and pull it apart into the bowl. So tap, thumbs go into the crack, and then pull it apart. If you get any shell in your bowl, use your big shell to scoop it out. It's hard to get it with your fingers or anything like that. So again, tap, put my thumbs where the crack is, and then just pull the shell apart with my thumbs. And I'm just going to use a fork to beat those eggs together. And you just want to whip them together until all the color is the same. So the whole thing turns yellow. And that's it. Once your eggs are beat, you want to set your eggs aside as well. Okay, I see eggs being whipped together. That's great. All right, if you have beat your eggs together, the next thing we want to make sure is that all of our vegetables that we're going to use are cut up. So if you're using an onion, you probably only need half that onion to be diced. If you're using a pepper, you probably only need about half a bell pepper to be diced. But whatever you're using, oh good, McGrady, you already have that cut up. Whatever you're using, make sure you form your hand into the claw like this, with your thumb and your pinky finger tucked under, because you don't want to cut your fingers. So hold whatever you're cutting with the claw. And I'll do a little demonstration right here with this piece of bell pepper that I have. I make my hand into the claw and I just cut strips out of the bell pepper, moving my fingers back as I go. Notice I'm not moving fast. I'm not doing any crazy Iron Chef stuff. That's because I want to keep my fingers on my hand. Once I have my pepper cut into strips, I can turn it 90 degrees and just slice down. And now I have a diced bell pepper. And I'll just push that to the edge of my cutting board for right now, because I do have green onions to cut up as well. So I'm going to cut the root end off and use these whites from the green onion to be the onion in my stir fry today. And I'm just slicing, still using the claw. Notice my fingers are all tucked under. Still using the claw to protect my fingers while holding on to my vegetables. I might use all these green onions because they're a little small. So if you have any vegetables that need to be cut up after you beat your eggs, let's go ahead and get those cut up. Nice job, Amelia. Amelia's slicing her green onions too. All right, Eli, are all your vegetables already cut up? All right, he's good to go.
And one more glove.
All right, so the last thing that I want to cut up is a couple of cloves of ginger. If you have minced ginger, in the jar, you probably only need, not ginger, garlic. You probably only need about a half a teaspoon of the minced garlic that comes in the jar, but I have 2 cloves of garlic. So what I'm going to do is mince them. I put the clove of garlic on my cutting board. I lay my knife across it and I just press it down with the heel of my palm, and it smashes the garlic, which makes it really easy to turn around and just mince it up like that. So at this point, all of my veg is prepped. And if you are there with your veg prepped and ready to go, give me a thumbs up. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is type this up to this point. So far, we made our sauce, right? Which is listed in the chat. Then we beat together 2 eggs, and we set those aside. Then we cut up all of our vegetables. Now you should have your cooked rice and your prepared protein, if it's meat or tofu or soybeans, ready to go. Now that we have prepared everything, we're ready to cook. The thing about stir fry is it happens really fast. So you don't want to be like, oh, I need my eggs. Oh, I need to make my, or you can drop your phone. I need to make my sauce. You want to have everything ready before you turn your pan on. And we're at that point, okay? So the only other thing you may need at this point are a couple measuring cups so that you can measure how much meat or how much rice you're putting in there. But I can go ahead and tell you it's about 2 to 3 cups of rice. So it's not a whole lot. All right, guys, we're ready to cook. We've got our mise en place together. Let's turn our pans on to medium heat and let it heat up. You're going to want to get your vegetable oil ready. Grab your vegetable oil. And a tablespoon. Because while our pan is heating up, we're going to want to heat our oil in the pan. The first thing we're going to do is cook our eggs. Then we're going to take the eggs out of the pan, put them right back in that bowl that they came out of because we're going to cook them again. And then the stir fry builds from there. Okay, so step 1 is cook the eggs, and then we'll build our stir fry, starting with the vegetables, then adding the rice and the cooked meat, adding our sauce, any frozen veg, and then the eggs go back in at the very end. So our pan's heating up. Let's get a tablespoon of oil in that pan. If you pour a little bit extra, it's okay. Not the end of the world. I'm gonna turn my heat up a little past medium, but not all the way to medium high, kind of halfway between medium and high, because I want this to get nice and hot. You can swirl your pan just by taking the handle and moving your pan in a circular manner. That makes sure that oil goes all over the pan, all across the pan. You know your oil is ready when it shimmers. There'll be small little waves going across the surface of the oil, like a breeze blowing across a lake. When you see that shimmer, you know your oil is ready and you can get your eggs in the pan. For this minute, while we're waiting for it to heat up, make sure you have something to stir with for your stir fry. A nice sturdy spatula would be good. A spatula like this, because we're gonna stir up our eggs and we're gonna stir up our fried rice. So we're gonna need a spatula to make sure we're scraping the bottom of the pot the whole way. All right, when I swirl my oil just now, I see the ripples. I see the shimmer of the oil going across the pan. Let me see if I can get that on camera. So this is time for me to get my eggs in. And you should be pretty close too. Carefully pour your eggs into the pan because you don't want to splatter the oil. It is hot. And your eggs should start cooking right away. Use your spatula to swirl them around as they're cooking. 1 tablespoon of oil, Matthew, just 1. And as they're cooking, use your spatula to break up any clumps. We're gonna break these eggs up into little pieces and it'll cook really fast. And just like that, just that quickly, they're done. Get your eggs out of the pan. You can put them back in that bowl because we're gonna cook them again. I'm gonna put them right in here. There, the eggs are cooked. How are you guys looking? Eggs cooking? Good. We're gonna wait here till everyone gets their eggs out of the pan. Keep your pan off the heat if you've already cooked your eggs, because your pan will get too hot. Notice I haven't put my pan back on the eye because I want to wait for us all to get caught up. All right, here come the eggs out of the pan. Great. Okay. Once your eggs are out of the pan, your pan goes back over the heat and you add 1 more tablespoon of oil. It's going to heat up a lot faster this time because it's already hot. 1 tablespoon of oil into the pan, and you don't even have to wait. You can immediately put your onions and peppers in right away. Onions and peppers. If you're using carrots or broccoli, you can add them at this point too. Just don't put in your garlic yet. All right, so the second batch, 1 tablespoon of oil plus vegetables. That's what happens when you take the eggs out of the pan. You add your onions and peppers. your carrots, your broccoli, whatever vegetables you want to use. They go in right now. Careful, this is hot. All right, once those onions move around for a little while and the peppers, let's get the meat in, your prepared meat or protein, plus the garlic. And stir it around. This is why it's called a stir fry. You're stirring and you're frying. We're not adding the frozen peas just yet, but that's a good question. Now we add the meat and the garlic, or whatever protein you're using. And we cook them for a few minutes. The peas are gonna go in at the end, Eli. Let's get our rice in. We need 2 to 3 cups of rice. And if you feel like it's getting a little too hot, you can turn your heat down. 1, 2, and this is cooked rice. 3. Pretty much. Break up your rice using your spatula and keep stirring everything around. Think of this as exercise. So now we add the rice and break up any clumps. Once you get your rice broken up, you're gonna add your stir fry sauce. Remember that? This is where it goes in. Give your stir fry sauce one last stir before you put it in. And I made a double batch, so I'm only gonna add half now. And stir that in there real good. There we go. Once your stir fry sauce is in, get your frozen vegetables in there. About a half a cup. And they'll just steam right through. The stir fry sauce has some sweetness to it, so you gotta make sure you're scraping the bottom of the pan so nothing is sticking. And keep stirring until everything is incorporated really well. I'm actually making contact with the bottom of the pan so that nothing is sticking. All right, the peas and peas and carrots are in because that's what I was using for frozen vegetables. It's smelling really good. Okay, once the sauce is in, add the frozen vegetables and keep stirring. Keep stirring. And at the very end, stir your eggs back in. So they heat all the way through. And that's it. You just made fried rice. Once you get your eggs stirred in, you can turn it off. All right, I'm gonna move that off the heat. As long as it's in the pan, you wanna stir because it could stick. But your fried rice is ready to serve. Now, if you have some extra stir fry sauce, you can use that as a condiment if you wanna season up your fried rice even more. But you see why we had to have everything ready to go before we started cooking? Because once you start adding stuff to that pan, stir fry goes very quickly. So it was important that everything in our mise en place was ready to go. Oh, I typed add starry sauce, but y'all know what I meant, stir fry sauce. Okay, how's it coming along? I see a lot of arm action and a lot of stirring going, so that's it. That's how we do it. Okay, at that point, your fried rice is ready to eat. You may want to think about some garnishes to make it pretty. I'm just going to put mine in a bowl. And it's quite colorful because of the vegetables and the eggs. You can see the orange from the carrots and the peas. They're nice and green. Got a little yellow egg action happening here. So before we get done, after we have everything off the heat, and make sure you turn that stove off and clean up a bit. So all of our measuring cups and bowls and things can all go over to the sink. If you have any frozen veg left, you're going to want to put that up in the freezer. Make sure the tops are closed on all your spices so we don't have any spills. And then you guys will be ready for lunch. You just made stir-fried rice for lunch. Great job, everybody. Once you get it all plated up, I want to see how you did. Show me your bowls. There's my bowl. Looks like Eli's about to feed everybody. Hey, good job there. See Jennifer Thomas? Yep, I see your stir-fried pan. Nice. How's it going, Amara? Good. Hey, McGrady, that looks good. Nice job on your fried rice, sir. Looks like you're ready for lunch. Nice job on lunch, Eli. Looks nice and colorful. Good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You got a lot of veggies in there. How you doing, Matthew? Good? Awesome. Well, it looks like you guys are ready for lunch. You did a really good job. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Please send me pictures if you took any. I'd love to see them. I'll be emailing the full recipe out. so that you can recreate this anytime, and you can make your own signature dishes by changing up the different meats you use, the different vegetables you use, how much stir-fry sauce you use. It's all up to you. You can even use quinoa, brown rice, any combination of grains you like. Even the cauliflower rice makes great stir-fry. It cooks fast though, so you gotta be ready to roll if you're using that. And as you can see, it's really important to have your mise en place together before you start cooking fried rice, because it all goes very quickly into the pan. Each step moves fast. So again, thank you guys for joining us here. Let's thank Captain Planet for hosting us here. And I hope to see you guys in some classes in the future. Y'all did an awesome job. Have a great lunch. Bye. Bye, Amara. See y'all next time.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. See you next time, Eli.
See you next time. Well, I'll see you like next week because my brothers are doing the others.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Amelia's going to show her off to her class.
Awesome.
She's already gone. Her class is reading a book, and she's going to take hers outside them.
They'll be envious because they don't have fried rice.
Yeah, I'm going to email you. I got some stuff to talk to you about.
Okay. Yes, shoot me an email. I don't have another class until 2, so.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks for joining us today. It's good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.